Do you know what conic section is? Here's a good word. No. Conic section is just a figure formed by the intersection of a plane and a right circular cone. That's all it is, conic section. There are several conic sections. The first one you already know. A conic section is a parabola. A conic section is a circle. You know those two. Conic section is an ellipse. You've seen that, heard of it. The one you don't probably know is the hyperbola. And we probably won't talk about that. Those are the different conic sections that we tend to study. Our focus in geometry is going to be on the circle. We've done parabolas. We did parabolas last year, correct? We spent a lot of time on our quadratic equations and parabolas. The fellow that gives us this curriculum, he's got a lot of parabolas in there, and I'm choosing to skip it because I'm pretty confident we're okay with that. I'll do a brief review on it, though, just in case. I didn't see anything in the Common Core geometry that says we need it. And the old geometry, not so much either. Okay, so that's our conic sections. What is the definition of a circle? How would you define a circle? Somebody walked in here and said, hey, geometry class, what's a circle? What would you say? Gosh, I hope you would say something. A figure without edges. Or vertices. Has 360 degrees. What else? Anything else? You blew me away. You didn't even use the word round. Oh, I thought somebody would have said round. Right? I would have thought that, but okay, what's a circle? It's a round figure whose boundary, also known as your circumference, consists of a set of points equidistant from a point. That point has a special name. Do you know what it is? Center. Thank you. Which is the center. So if we take a peek at the circle, C is the center, right here. That's the center. Here's your set of points. Aren't these all the same distance away from the center point? They are. So here's your set of points. They're all equidistant. And the distance from here to here is called the what? Did you say it loud? Radius. How many radii are there in a circle? There's more than one. There's a lot. I mean, in a way there's an infinite amount, in a way there's a finite amount, because I can keep going all the way around, but remember, points don't have any length, width, or height, but we make them have that. So I mean, there is a finite number. We start here and work our way all the way around, and we'll end there too. You can't say for sure. Okay. 5 radii in your circle. You have a lot of radii in your circle. You need to be aware of that. All right, one of the big pushes in, what is this? Thank you. That was just me. One of the big pushes in core geometry is deriving formulas. So do you see, this says you want to come up with a general equation for a circle. I want to figure out what the equation of this circle is. I have a center and I have a radius. Do you agree? How do we find the length of this? This is old. How do we find the length of a segment? You can use yours. How do we find the length of a segment? I'm not looking at the triangle. I want to know the length of the segment. We can use the triangle. I don't want to do that right now. How do you find the length of any segment from the beginning of the year? We don't have a measuring tool. We don't have a compass. We don't have any of that. I'm pretty sure we did it last year. I'm pretty sure we did it this year. So it looks like you're going to spend some time browsing. Okay, so here's the distance formula. We've used it. I want you to box it in. You need to memorize it. It's not given to you on the repeat form. Either one. So we're looking at the line segment, and we want to find the length, which is equal to the distance. Well, this line segment, CP, has a special name. What's it called? In the circle. It's the radius, so I'm going to let that be R for radius. And then let's call this X sub 2 and Y sub 2. And we'll call the center X sub 1 and Y sub 1. Does it really matter? No. But I'm helping you to derive the formula, so I'm going to put it that way for a reason. What's X sub 2? X. What's X sub 1? I didn't hear.
Oh, X sub 1
H. Squared. Plus, what's Y sub 2? What's Y sub 1? Okay. Well, the only other thing I think we can do to get rid of that radical is to do what? How do you undo a radical? Square both sides. So guess what? The formula for a circle is R squared equals X minus H squared plus Y minus K squared.
Wait, wouldn't it be just, if you're squaring them, then it would be X minus H squared?
It would, because you're squaring the radical. You're not squaring the square. You're undoing the square root, and to undo the square root, you square. Thank you, though. So, ladies and gentlemen, this right here has to be memorized. This is your general formula for a circle. Any circle. Okay, committed to. Now, the nice part is our circle helps us with a couple things. If you notice, R is going to stand for the what? Radius. Notice in the formula, our radius is squared. So if somebody asks you for the radius, you have to take the square root of what you see in the formula. We'll practice that today. H and K represent the what? Did you say? Yep, it's the center. X and Y just represent the point on the circle somewhere. Big things that you need are the R, the H, and the K. All right, now, let's look at some of these problems. I don't want to do all of them because I'm going to save some of these for homework. I'm going to help you with a couple things. Ready? We're going to look at A. A says, okay, I got a circle formula. How do I know it's a circle? Well, I've got X minus H squared plus Y minus K squared equals R squared. It's this form. I need to find the center. Look at it. In our formula, it's a minus. Is this a minus? So then the answer is 7 for H. H, K. H comes before K. This is H, this is K. Now, let's look here. Our formula says this is supposed to be a negative, correct? The formula, right here, says this is supposed to be a negative. It's a positive. How'd that happen? What got substituted in for K to make this a positive?
A negative.
A negative. So my K is going to be a negative 10. Give me a minute. So I've got my formula here. This is H, this is K, this is R squared. So what's my radius? Say it again. 9. So here's my shortcut. When you look at the formula for a circle, it's the opposite of what you see. I see negative 7, I write positive 7. I see positive 10, I write negative 10 because of the formula. It's just the opposite of what you see. Shortcut. Let's look at C. What's the center? So you gotta say it loud. C.
Negative 2.
Good. 9 and negative 2. What's the radius? What's your question on it? It's the square root of your constant. So it's going to be the square root of this, it's going to be the square root of that, it's going to be the square root of that, it's going to be, when I take the 9 to the other side, the square root of that. Now, I'm going to do one more and then save the rest for homework. Let's do E. You write down the center, you write down the radius, and I'll check it. Just to be, although most of you have already gone through and done it, make sure you've done it correctly. Questions on those? So when you have just x squared, what's the center? With the x squared, what's the center point? And if you have y squared, what's the center point? 0, 0, 0. All right, let's look here. Now we're going to write the equation of the circle. Oh, good. So let's start with A. We've got 2 circles on this grid. First thing I would, what's the center here? 0, 0. So I know my center is going to be 0, 0. I'd probably write it right there. I know my center is 0, 0. How do you find the radius? Yeah. And what I would do is I would go from the points that they give you. So from here to here is how much? 10. All right, so then all I have to do is plug it into that formula. Go ahead, you read it to me. Well, I'm just going to do x minus.
Plus
Squared.
squared.
Minus squared equals. Okay, so that's what I start with. I take my basic formula, x minus h, that quantity squared, plus y minus k, that quantity squared, equals r squared. Now I'm going to make it pretty. What's x minus 0? X squared. What's y minus 0? Y squared. What's 10 squared? There's my equation for circle A. You do circle B, please. I'll check you. I got to come up with the equation. This is what I do. I go and find out what my center is first. Read that. What does it say? 4, negative 2. I always write my center down. I think it's easier with my coordinates. Count from here to here. So it's 1, 2, 3. So my radius is 3. So then I go to my general formula. X minus, what's h? 4 squared plus y minus, what's k? Negative 2 squared equals, what's my radius? 3 squared. I always start like that and then I make it pretty. X minus 4 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 9. Good? Do you want to try one more, or are you comfortable with these? Your call. One more? Okay, one more. Let's do C, and we'll do B. So circle B. Circle B here has a center of, correct me if I'm wrong, -1, -2? -1, -1? Oh, -2, -2, thanks. So the center's -2, -2. And then we're going to count from red dot to red dot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the radius is 6. Okay, so x minus h, that quantity squared, plus y minus k, that quantity squared is your radius squared. General formula that you have to memorize. So our h is a -2. Our k is a -2. And our radius is 3. I won't leave it like that because it's just not pretty. Huh? Thanks. So I won't leave it like that because it's not pretty. So I would do x plus 2, that quantity squared, double negatives, y plus 2, that quantity squared, equals 36. So do the rest for homework. Backside. I don't think we have to do any more of those. It's the same thing as what we were doing on top. Let's look at C. Determine the equation of the circle. This is nicer. They give you the center, they give you the radius. All you have to do is plug it into the formula. So this is R, this is H, this is K. So I'm going to plug in x minus, what's H? -3. Yeah, but I always, you can go ahead if you want. I go nice and slow. Y minus, what's K? And what's my radius? 7. And then, you know me, I go slow and make it nice and pretty. X plus 3 squared plus y minus 6 squared equals 49. Done. So why don't you do D? I'll check you, and we'll move on. Okay, in the formula, the signs are what? What are the signs in the formula? Are the signs positive or negative in the formula? Negative. So it's x minus, what's h? 3. And they're squared. Plus y minus, what's k? -3 squared. Equals, what's r? 10 squared. Be careful. I've seen them give diameter. So you have to cut the diameter in half to get the radius. All right, so now I'm making it pretty. X minus 3 squared. Plus, you help me make it pretty. Plus 3 squared and... All right. Great. All right, so you've got your compasses out. This is the fun part. Now we get to graph. So now we're going to draw our circles with our compass, but we don't pick the compass up first. First, we got to do some work. So let's graph A. So the first thing I'm going to do when I graph is I'm going to write down my center and my radius. So would you look at A, and James, would you look at A and tell us what the center is? Perfect. He remembers that when it's in the equation, it's the opposite of what I see. I see a -3, I write down 3. I see a +2, I write down -2. And then Sylvia, what's the radius? 2. She has to take the square root of 4. So it's the square root to get you your radius. Then I take my handy dandy pencil and I go to my center and put a dot. So my center is at 3, -2. Then from that center I go right to, I go up to, from the center I go left to, And from the center, I go down 2. That's my radius. I'm 2 away from the center. Remember our definition of circle from the beginning. Set of points equidistant from the center point. Now, and only now, do I take my handy-dandy compass, which I have to locate way up here. And I'll put my pointing part on the center. I'll put my pencil part on any of the dots that represent my radius. And then you're going to swing that circle. You're done. In this case, you can either put the equation on the circle or just label it A. Good? Okay, so let me give you your homework. I think I already told you most of it, but, and we're only got time to do today. This one. On number 4, please do everything they haven't done on number 4. On 5, would you please do B, what we haven't done on B, and what we haven't done on C. Nothing on D, E, or F. I don't need anything done on D, E, and F on the back. That's just bonus for when you want to prepare for your next quiz. I would like you on number 6 to do C and F. And on 7, why don't you do C and D?